G'day guys, I hope you're well. This video, I just want to touch on a few points that I think are very important. Number one is today your life is going to change. There's nothing you can really do about it. It could be in a good way, it could be in a not so good way, but life is constantly changing. So that's just the opening point I just wanted to stress before we get into these 8 points that I want to talk about. I'm down here at the local lake. Beautiful park down here. So I'll give you a bit of a look as I walk around. Beautiful day here in Melbourne. Nice and warm. Summer's really starting to set in now. So the first point I want to talk about is what I just mentioned there, change. Life is constantly changing. So everyone's got to learn to not resist change. You just got to learn to go with change. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. A good way to think about it, it's like big trees and the wind. You know, so you can't change the weather. The weather's going to come on no matter what you do. Sometimes it's windy, sometimes it's still. And the trees that survive are the big trees that tend to bend in the wind. And that's 99% of the trees do that. They sway and they bend even in very strong winds, but they live to fight another day. Then you get only, 1 or 2% that actually break. But most of the vegetation around, even really big trees, they tend to sway in the wind. They move backwards and forwards, and I think that's the best way to think about it with your own life. Things are going to change. So you've just got to be ready and adjust. But make sure you keep standing. Don't let it break you. So the next point I want to talk about is the silent killer of your dreams. When you don't speak up, when you stay silent, when you know that you should say something, whether it be a meeting or a relationship. So by not speaking up, can have a huge effect on your future. And I'm sure we've all been in that situation where we've been in some sort of interaction, as I said, whether it be personal or work related, and you finish the interaction, whatever it is, and you're leaving, and you're on the way home or going somewhere else, and you think to yourself, I should have said something, but I didn't. That's one big thing that I've learnt. So I'd encourage you to speak up all the time. It's better to speak up and make a difference than to spend a lot of time afterwards thinking I should have spoken up and I didn't. So yeah, I'd encourage everybody to do that. I'm definitely guilty of that in the past, so I don't want to be guilty of it in the future. It's one thing that I'm determined to change, and I hope you guys do that as well. So the next point I want to talk about is I've learned to stop wasting time and effort on things that don't really matter. And a good framework to work with on this one is if what you're worried about and what you're procrastinating about isn't going to make a big difference to your life in 5 years' time, no matter whether you do it or you don't do it, then don't worry about it. Stop wasting your time and energy even thinking about it if it's not a major thing, if it's not going to affect your life. So forget about it, move on, spend time on more important things. Otherwise you end up spending way too much time on those things that they don't really matter. When you think of big picture, they're not going to have a big influence on your life moving forward in the next 5 years, say for example. Then don't spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it, just move on. So that's the next point I wanted to talk about. Look, there's a little beach here. So lots of people here setting up. Dogs are in there having a swim. It's very nice, this park. Nice and relaxing for the summer. Alrighty, so the next point I want to talk about is the brutal truth about hard work that no one really talks about. Hard work doesn't guarantee success. It gives you the best chances of success, but nothing really guarantees success. So having said that, I definitely encourage you to work as hard as you possibly can on whatever you want to achieve, because it gives you the best chances of success. But there's no guarantee of success. So as long as you're aware of that, and you take it in your stride and you keep working hard on whatever you want to do, then that's your best option. But think of it like if you're planting a new garden. So you can plant all the perfect plants and do all the right things and water them and fertilise them and do as much as you want, but you can't control the weather. So the weather could have a massive effect on whether your garden succeeds or it doesn't succeed. So that's out of your control. And I think you've got to think about whatever you're doing in life along a similar type vein. So definitely work as hard as you can to give yourself the best chance, but just understand there's no guarantees in life. It might work out how you want it, or it might not. That's out of your control, but just keep on working at it, that's for sure. Beautiful day here. I think it's getting up to 27, 28 degrees. Beautiful. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is when you get the choice of taking the easy path or the hard path in life. It's not always the right decision to take the easy path. Sometimes it's worth taking the hard path if it helps you grow and evolve in your life. Think of it like the difference between taking an elevator or taking the stairs. Taking the elevator is definitely easier, quicker and easier. But taking the stairs is much better for your health, for your fitness, for your overall benefit in life, if you like. Or your benefit to lead a better life, a more healthy life. Now, so don't always take the easy path. By taking the stairs instead of the elevator, you're going to build your cardio, you're going to build your muscle. So overall, it's better to take the stairs a few times if you can. Don't always take the elevator. So just think about your own life and how that can benefit you. Now I want to talk about the hidden cost of playing it safe in life all the time, not taking any chances, being scared to fail. I believe it's much better to take chances and risk failure. If you fail, that's fine. It's better to try something and fail than not try something and regret not trying it. And the best way to think about this is think of failures as bruises. So when you get a bruise, now it hurts for a little while, leaves a red mark, but bruises go away after a very short time. So you have a bruise, it hurts, and then it goes away. When you don't do things because you're scared or you just don't do them for other reasons, you get regret. And regret, think of regret as more like a scar. And a scar can stay with you for a very long time. Some people have scars for the rest of their lives. So yeah, think about not doing things as scars. Think about doing things and failing as bruises. Now, I've had quite a few bruises over the years, but I'm happy that I've had the bruises, because if I didn't try things and fail, then I'd have a lot more scars than I have now, that's for sure. So I'd prefer to have the bruises. So just think about in your own life how that relates to you, and leave in the comments down below what you think about that. Okay, so the next point I want to talk about is indecision. So indecision can ruin your life if you don't do anything, if you just ponder on decisions for too long. It's better to make a decision, even if you're not sure which is the right decision. You know, sometimes there's no right decision, but you've just got to try to move forward. As I mentioned in the last point, if you move forward and you make a mistake, or you choose the wrong choice that you later recognise, then you get a bruise and you learn from it. But you keep moving forward. If you don't make any decision, you tend to waste a lot of time. Again, I've been guilty of that in the past, but I don't do that anymore. I tend to make decisions and move on. So I'd recommend you trying that out too, because that means you keep moving forward, you keep learning, you get a few bruises along the way, but at least you're moving forward in a direction. So yeah, that's my next point I wanted to just touch on. Leave in the comments down below what you think about that, whether you agree or you disagree. I'd love to hear it. Okay, this is my final point that I want to talk about today. This one's don't let your past poison your present or your future. So I want you to think about the time you have and the mental energy you have like your cell phone battery. You've only got a certain amount that you can use up, and once it's gone, you can't reuse it. The battery drains. So you've got to think about how you're using that time, that energy. So don't think about the past. Don't waste it in the past. You can't change the past. You can only influence what's happening right now and what's going to happen in the future. So if you spend your time thinking about the here and now, and also a bit of time planning about your future, what you want to do in the future, that's much better than just dwelling on the past all the time. So hopefully you've learnt from your past, but when it's past, it's gone. So let it go and focus on the future. Try to think about that as much as you can and be aware of what you're thinking about, because you can easily waste a lot of time being in the past and not the future. Another way to think about the past is like a closed book. If you're living in the past, it doesn't give you any mental energy to design the type of future that you want to have. So don't waste that mental energy on living in the past like a closed book that you can't change. You can't rewrite that old book. That book is there. The only thing you can do is write new chapters in a new book, or extend the book, but new chapters. So you've got to put your mental energy into designing the future that you want to have. So the pages in that new book, or the pages, extended pages from your old book, are what you want. So that's all I wanted to say today, guys. I hope you enjoyed that little walk and talk. I touched on some very important points today. I'd love to hear your comments, so please comment down below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you haven't subscribed, I'd love it if you would subscribe. I'd appreciate that. I love reading all the comments that you put. And if you think this can help someone that you know, please share it with them. All right, guys, I hope you're having a great start to 2025. Hope you're out walking or doing some form of exercise every day to keep fit and healthy, both physically and mentally. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.